Phone on the kitchen counter, my text message still there. Happy Thanksgiving, sweetheart. See you at 2? Read. No reply. Table full of food, turkey, mashed potatoes, pumpkin pie. I sat alone. That afternoon, my son's wife posted a photo. Him, her, my granddaughter, restaurant, all smiling. Caption: thankful for my little family. I wasn't in it. That night, I sat with a plate of cold turkey and realized I wasn't family anymore. That same night, I rewrote my will. And 3 days after that, they were at my door, begging. If you're watching this, subscribe and let me know where you're watching from. I raised David alone after Robert died. Heart attack at 52. One day he was coaching David's little league team. The next, he was gone. David was 14. 24 years ago now. I sold our smaller house to pay for his college. Worked 2 jobs so he wouldn't graduate with debt. Tutored kids at night to help with his wedding 3 years ago when he married Ashley. Back then, we were close. He used to call me every Sunday, just to ask about my pie recipe, about the garden, about nothing at all really, just to hear my voice. Now he calls when the dishwasher breaks. Year 1 after the wedding, he still showed up for Sunday brunch without being asked. Brought Lily over for her first birthday party in my living room. Year 2, things shifted. He got busier, canceled plans, said he'd come next week. Next week, never came. Year 3. This year, I saw them maybe 5 times. Always me reaching out first. Always me adjusting my schedule to fit theirs. The last photo we took together was 6 months ago, Lily's 3rd birthday party. I'm in the background, holding a plate of Tupperware I'd brought. Everyone else is centered, laughing. I have $320,000 in savings at First National Bank. Money I'd scrimped and saved for 30 years. My house is paid off, no mortgage, no debt. My will said it all went to David. He knew about the bank account. Last year, he'd sent me money once when my furnace broke. $200. I gave him my routing number to transfer it. He never asked for it back. I never expected him to. But lately, he'd been asking questions. How are you managing, Mom? Have you thought about updating your will? At your age, you should make sure everything's in order. Ashley, too. 2 months ago, right after my birthday that they forgot, she texted. Managing finances at your age can be overwhelming. We can help. I told myself they were being thoughtful, concerned. I told myself a lot of things. On my piano bench, there's an old music book from 30 years ago. I used to play every evening after David went to bed. Chopin, Debussy. Simple pieces, but they were mine. I sold the piano to pay for David's college textbooks his sophomore year. Told him it was fine. I didn't need it. I drive past the music store sometimes. Look at the pianos in the window. Keep driving. There's a photo album on the wooden shelf in my living room. Pictures of David as a boy. David graduating. David's wedding. Us, when we were still us. I sit in the chair by the window most evenings, the one that faces the driveway, waiting for headlights that rarely come. I told myself he was just busy, building his life. That's what children do. And mothers? We smile and say we understand. But I'd been understanding for 3 years. At what point does understanding become denial? Thanksgiving was supposed to be different. I'd texted 2 weeks early. He'd said yes. I should have known better. Thanksgiving morning, 7:30. I woke up excited. Texted David. Happy Thanksgiving, sweetheart. See you at 2 p.m. Made your favorite pie. I started cooking. Turkey in the oven by 8. Mashed potatoes at 10. Pumpkin pie at noon. Wiped down the table. New tablecloth. Set 3 extra places. Checked my phone at 9. Not read yet. 11. Read. No reply. 1 p.m. Still nothing. 1:45. My phone buzzed. Sorry, Mom, something came up. Rain check? I read it 3 times. Something came up. No explanation. No real apology. No suggestion of when we'd reschedule. Rain check? Like I was a lunch date he could postpone. I put the phone down. Looked at the table I'd spent hours preparing. The turkey cooling on the counter, the pie on the wire rack. I sat down. Tried to eat. Couldn't swallow. Put everything in containers, one by one. stacked them in the fridge, sat in the dark kitchen, didn't turn the lights on. Just Saturday, 6:30, I picked up my phone. Habit, the thing you do when you're alone and don't want to be. Opened Facebook. There it was, posted 30 minutes ago. David, Ashley, Lily at some upscale restaurant, white tablecloths, wine glasses, turkey on their plates, Thanksgiving decorations in the background. David wore the blue shirt I'd given him for his birthday. Ashley in a red dress, party dress, not something came up clothes. Lily in a velvet dress. They were smiling, all three of them. The caption, thankful for my little family, orange heart emoji, #blessed, #family first. I stared at that photo for 15 minutes, zoomed in on their faces, the restaurant sign partially visible behind them, the dressed-up clothes, the planned reservation. This wasn't last minute. They'd known, days ago, maybe weeks. I remembered a Thanksgiving 15 years ago, David carving the turkey while I held baby Lily. He'd looked at me and said, "Best Thanksgiving ever, Mom. I kept that photo on my fridge for years." Funny how some smiles expire. 47 comments already. Beautiful family, so blessed. Goals. Not one person asked where Grandma was. I scrolled through the comments, through Ashley's previous posts. Found one from 2 weeks ago. Can't wait for our Thanksgiving dinner reservation at Morrison's. 2 weeks. They'd planned this 2 weeks ago. The same time I'd texted asking if they were coming. David had said yes, knowing he'd already made other plans. I wasn't forgotten. I was chosen against. My hand hovered over the phone. For 30 years, that's what I'd done. Called first, fixed first, forgave first. But this time, my hand didn't move. I thought about the other signs, the pattern I'd been ignoring. 2 months ago, my birthday, October 12th, 64 years old. No call, no text. 1 week later, David called. "Hey Mom, have you thought about updating your will? You should make sure everything's in order." 3 weeks ago, Ashley texted, "How are you managing financially, Claire? At your age, expenses add up." I'd answered, "I'm fine, dear." She'd replied, "Just checking. We're here if you need help with your accounts." Last week, David called about nothing in particular. Then, "You're still banking at First National, right? Just making sure everything's protected." They weren't worried about me. They were worried about the money. $320,000. The number Ashley couldn't have known unless she'd gone through my papers. Last time they visited, I was in the garden. She'd been inside alone for 20 minutes. I'd noticed my desk drawer wasn't quite closed all the way. Told myself I'd forgotten to close it properly. I hadn't forgotten. Maybe I did something wrong. Maybe I called too much. Maybe I loved too loudly. But then I looked at that photo again. Their smiles. My empty table. No. I didn't love wrong. They received wrong. 8 p.m. I stood up, turned on the lights, walked to my desk, opened the bottom drawer, took out my will folder. Read it. All assets to David James Mitchell. My house, my savings, my investments, everything. To a son who couldn't be bothered to show up for Thanksgiving, who'd lied about something coming up, who'd posted a family photo that said I wasn't family anymore. I took out a blank sheet of paper, blue ink pen. Wrote at the top, "Last Will and Testament, Draft. November 24th, 2024. My hand didn't shake. I thought it would. I thought I'd cry. But all I felt was clear, cold clear. It hurt. God, it hurt. But loving them had hurt more. I, Claire Elizabeth Mitchell, intend to revoke all previous wills. Proposed distribution: 70% to Educational Charity Foundation, 20% to Ovarian Cancer Research Fund, 10% to Trust Fund for Lily Mitchell, accessible at age 25. $0 to David James Mitchell. Reason: this is not punishment. This is clarity. My son has shown he values my resources, not my presence. Special clause: any contest of final will results in complete forfeiture, including Lily's trust. Draft prepared by Claire E. Mitchell. To be formalized with attorney. I didn't sign it. Not yet. This was just a draft. Would need a lawyer to make it legal. I took a photo of it with my phone. Emailed my friend Stephen, the lawyer from church. Subject line, urgent. Stephen, urgent. Can you come to my house first thing tomorrow morning? I need to formalize something immediately. See attachment. This cannot wait. Attached the photo. Sent it at 9:30 p.m. He replied within 5 minutes. Saw your email. I'll be there at 9 a.m. Are you okay? I will be. I put the draft in my desk drawer, not hidden, just there. Poured myself a glass of water, cold, from the tap, stood at the sink, and drank it. Didn't feel victorious. Didn't feel vengeful. Just felt like I'd stopped pretending. For 30 years I'd been writing David into my future. Every dollar saved was for him. Every plan made included him. Time to write myself back in. I left my phone in the living room. Didn't take it to bed. First time in years. Went upstairs, got ready for bed, lay down. Expected to stare at the ceiling all night. But I slept, deep and dreamless. Because I'd finally stopped waiting for something that was never coming. 7 am Friday. I woke up feeling strange. Light, like I'd put down something heavy I'd been carrying so long I'd forgotten it was there. Made coffee, not tea. Coffee, strong, black. 9 am, doorbell rang. Stephen stood on my porch, laptop bag in hand. Kind eyes. We'd known each other from church for 15 years. He'd handled Robert's estate when he died. I got your email at 10 p.m. Couldn't sleep after reading it. What happened? I told him. Short version, Thanksgiving. The text, the photo, the pattern. He listened without interrupting. Claire, this is clear. It's strong. But are you absolutely sure? I've never been more sure of anything. Can we make it legal today? Yes. Let me draft the formal document. We sat at my kitchen table, Stephen typing on his laptop, me watching the words appear on screen. Last will and testament, all the legal language, my name, my assets, the distribution exactly as I'd written it last night. 70% Educational Charity Foundation, 20% Ovarian Cancer Research, 10% Trust for Lily at age 25, $0 to David James Mitchell. The special clause. Any contest results in complete forfeiture, including Lily's trust. Stephen printed 3 copies. I read each one, signed all 3, dated them. Stephen witnessed. Called his colleague Emma, who lived 2 streets over. She came within 10 minutes, witnessed, notarized right there at my table. 10:30 am. Done. This is now legally binding, Stephen said. Filed with the county. On record. Irreversible, unless you decide to change it yourself. Good. He'll find out soon. I know. And I'm ready. Stephen packed his laptop, paused at the door. For what it's worth. I think you're being fair, not cruel, fair. After he left, I sat in my kitchen, the same kitchen where I'd sat alone on Thanksgiving. But it felt different now. 2 p.m. My phone rang, unknown number. I almost didn't answer. Mrs. Mitchell? This is Kelly from First National Bank. My stomach dropped. I'm calling because we received an unusual inquiry this morning. A David Mitchell called claiming to be your son with power of attorney, requesting account balance information and attempting to add himself as joint account holder. I wanted to verify with you before end of business day. My hands went cold. I have not given anyone power of attorney, and I certainly haven't authorized anyone to be added to my accounts. That's what we suspected, which is why I'm calling to verify. He had your account number and routing number. I gave him that information last year. When my furnace broke, he sent me $200. I gave him my routing number so he could transfer it. But that doesn't give him access, Kelly continued. We declined his request and flagged the account. He seemed quite agitated, insisted it was urgent. Said something about making sure you're protected. I don't need protection. I need privacy. Please note on my account, no one has authorization except me. Already done, Mrs. Mitchell, and if he tries again, we'll contact you immediately. I hung up, sat there, phone in my hand. Less than 24 hours. One day after Thanksgiving, he was already calling my bank. Not to apologize, not to check if I was okay after canceling on me. To check my account balance. To secure his inheritance from a woman who wasn't even dead yet. And he had moved fast, too fast. Maybe he'd been planning to call the bank anyway. Maybe my lack of response to his rain check text made him nervous. Maybe Ashley had pushed him to check. Either way, it confirmed everything. This wasn't sudden concern. This was strategy. Ashley's questions, David's updates about my will. This was a long game, and I'd finally seen the board. 6 p.m. Email from Stephen. Claire, David called my office this afternoon asking about your estate planning. He said he's concerned about your mental state and wanted to know if you'd made any recent changes. I told him I cannot discuss client matters without your written permission. He asked for your permission. I said I'd relay the message. Do you want me to respond? I replied, Stephen, do not respond to him. Do not confirm or deny anything. If he calls again, decline to comment. If he threatens legal action, refer him to the will on file. Thank you for protecting my privacy. I started gathering evidence. Printed out text messages from the last 3 years. Emails, Facebook posts, made a timeline. November. I texted 14 times. He replied 3. October. I invited him to dinner 4 times. He came 0. September. Lily's birthday party. I wasn't invited. Found out from Facebook. Put everything in a manila folder, set it on my desk. They'd come soon, and I'd be ready with facts, not feelings. Saturday morning. I woke up and decided to do something normal, something that didn't involve lawyers or wills or waiting for confrontation. I went to my garden. 8 a.m., still cool outside, dew on the grass. I grabbed my gloves and pruning shears. Watered the plants, trimmed dead leaves, pulled weeds. Simple work, repetitive, calming. I needed my hands busy, my mind clear. Tomorrow they'd come. Today, I'd breathe. Noon. Email notification on my phone. From Ashley. Subject line. We need to talk. I opened it standing in my garden, dirt under my nails. Claire, David is very upset. He says you've done something drastic with your estate planning. This is ridiculous. You're overreacting to one missed holiday. We're a family. Families talk through things like adults. We're coming over tomorrow at 10 a.m. to discuss this properly. Be there. Ashley. I read it twice. David is very upset. Not, we're sorry. One missed holiday. Not 3 years of pattern. Be there. In my own house, like I was the one who needed to show up. Discuss this properly, as if I were a child having a tantrum. I waited 30 minutes before replying. Let her wonder. Ashley, this is my home. You don't tell me to be there. If you wish to come at 10 a.m., the door will open. Whether I let you in is another matter. Claire. Sent. Went back to my garden, finished weeding, came inside, showered, changed clothes. 3 p.m. Phone rang. My friend Karen. I ran into Ashley at the grocery store. She seemed off. Said something about you having an episode. What's going on? I'm not having an episode. I'm having a reckoning. Do you need me there tomorrow? No. But thank you. This is something I need to do alone. Call me after? I will. Evening. I sat in my living room. The manila folder on the coffee table, the will in my safe upstairs, timeline printed and organized. I thought about Lily. Tomorrow when they came, they'd use her. They'd say, think of Lily. But I was thinking of Lily. I was thinking of the $10,000 trust fund that would teach her she's valued. I was thinking of the letter I still needed to write, the one that would explain why boundaries matter. I went to my desk, took out stationery. Lily, your father will tell you I was cruel. Maybe I was, but I hope one day you'll understand. Teaching someone to value you isn't cruelty, it's survival, and I survived. I hope you never have to make this choice, but if you do, I hope you choose yourself. Love, Grandma Claire. Sealed it. Put it with the will documents. 8 p.m. Text from David. Mom, tomorrow 10 a.m., we're coming. We need to fix this. No, please, no, if you're available. We need to fix this. Like I'd broken something. I didn't reply. I stood in front of my bathroom mirror, looked at myself. 64 years old, tired eyes, but steady. Tomorrow, you will stand your ground. You will not apologize. You will not back down. You raised him. But you don't owe him your life. Remember that. I went to bed at 9 p.m., set my alarm for 7 a.m., and slept better than I had in weeks. Because I knew what was coming, and I was ready. Sunday morning, 7 a.m., I woke up rested. Showered, dressed, gray slacks, simple sweater, hair combed neat, no makeup beyond the basics. I wanted to look like myself. Cleaned the living room, cleared the coffee table, just the manila folder, box of tissues, glass of water. Nothing welcoming, nothing warm. This wasn't a social visit. 8:30, made coffee, black, strong, stood in my kitchen, drinking it, looking out the window at the gray sky. In 90 minutes they'd be here, David and Ashley, coming to fix this, as if I were broken, as if standing up for myself was a malfunction. Part of me wanted to cancel, to text, "Don't come." But that would be running, and I'd spent 3 years running toward them while they ran away. Today, I stood still. 9:30. I sat in my living room chair, not the one by the window where I usually waited, the one facing the door, the one with the straight back. Position of power. Hands folded, back straight. They'd cry, they'd yell, they'd blame. Ashley would call me unstable, David would beg. But I had something they didn't: the truth, numbers, dates, facts, and a will already filed. 9:47, 13 minutes early. I heard the car. Tires on gravel, fast, too fast. Engine cut. 2 doors slamming, footsteps quick on the walkway. Doorbell, long and hard. I didn't stand up right away. Counted to 5, breathed. Stood. Walked slowly to the door. Looked through the window. David, face red, jaw tight. Ashley, arms crossed, lips thin. No, Lily. Good. I opened the door, stood in the frame, didn't step back, didn't invite them in with my body. You're early. Does it matter? Ashley's voice sharp. Yes, but come in. I stepped aside. They pushed past, not walked, pushed, like a wave. Into my living room, looking around, at the bare walls where their photos used to hang, at the empty table, at the folder sitting there. Sit. One word, not a question, a command. I sat first, in my chair, facing them. They sat on the couch, together, united front. David opened his mouth. I raised my hand. Let me speak first, then you can have your turn. And for the first time in 3 years, he closed his mouth and listened. I opened the folder, took out the first page. This is November. I texted you 14 times. You replied 3 times. Laid it on the table. This is October. I invited you to dinner 4 times. You came 0, said you'd come next week. Never did. Another page. September. Lily's birthday party. I wasn't invited. Found out from Facebook. August. I offered to babysit. You said you'd let me know. Didn't. July. I called 6 times. You answered once. David tried to interrupt. Mom. I held up my hand. I'm not done. Pulled out the printed photo, the Thanksgiving photo, set it down between us. Thursday. Posted at 6 p.m. While I sat alone with a table of food I'd cooked since 7 a.m. You weren't too busy. You were at a restaurant, celebrating family. Without me. Ashley stared at the photo, face going pale. 47 times in 6 months. Not once. 47. We've been busy. David started. Stop. Stop saying that word. You weren't busy. You were indifferent. I pulled out another page. Email from First National Bank. Friday, 10 a.m. You called my bank. David's face went white. Claiming power of attorney. Trying to access my accounts. Add yourself as joint holder. I was just worried. He stammered. About what? My balance? Silence. You had my routing number from last year, when you sent me $200 for my furnace, and you used it to try to access my finances. Less than 24 hours after canceling on me. I pulled out printed texts. October 15th. Text from you. Have you updated your will, Mom? You should make sure everything's in order. October 28th. Ashley's text. Managing finances at your age can be overwhelming. We can help. November 10th. Your call. Just checking in on your accounts. Making sure everything's protected. I looked straight at David. You weren't checking on me. You were checking on the money. Ashley's voice cut in. Cold. This is absurd. So we asked about your finances. That's what family does. No. What family does is show up. Call. Remember birthdays. We made one mistake. When's my birthday? Silence. Long and terrible. It was 2 months ago. October 12th. 64 years old. You didn't call. Didn't text. Nothing. But 1 week later, you called about my will. Ashley's face flushed red. But you didn't forget about the $320,000. She stopped. Froze. How did you know that number, Ashley? I don't. You went through my papers. Last time you were here, when I was in the garden, you opened my desk. David started to deny it. I cut him off. Don't lie to me. I know my own house. Things were moved. David's voice changed, softer, cracking at the edges. Okay, you're right. We messed up. We've been terrible. I know that. He stood, walked closer. Mom, please. I'm sorry. I'm really, truly sorry. I didn't stand, sat there, looked up at him. For what? For everything. For Thanksgiving. For not calling. For trying to access my bank account? He flinched. I was worried. Stop lying. If you were worried, you'd have come on Thursday, brought Lily, spent time with me. But you didn't. You went to a restaurant and posted about your little family. His eyes filled. I know I hurt you. But please, don't cut me out. I'm begging you. Why? Because you're my mother. And you're my son. But you've treated me like an obligation, like something to manage, to deal with when convenient. His voice broke completely. I'll change. I promise. We'll visit every week. I don't believe you. And then he did it. Dropped to his knees. Right there in my living room. Hands clasped together. Mom, please. I'm begging you. For mercy. There it was. The moment from the title. My son on his knees. I don't deserve it. I know I don't. I've been a terrible son. Selfish, thoughtless. I took you for granted. I treated your love like it was free, like it didn't cost you anything. Tears running down his face. But please, give me one more chance. Don't cut me out. I need. He stopped, heard himself. You need what? I asked quietly. I need you. Or my money? You. I need you. Then why did you call the bank before you called me? No answer, just tears. Part of me wanted to reach out, to touch his face like I did when he was small, to say it's okay, we'll figure it out. But I didn't move. Because the part of me that wanted to fix this was the same part that had been breaking for 3 years. Stand up, David. He stood, face wet, broken. I don't want you to beg. I want you to understand. For 30 years, you had a mother who would do anything for you, and you treated that like it meant nothing. I wasn't angry. I was awake. I didn't cut you out. I simply stopped funding my own disrespect. Ashley stood now, her face wet too, but calculated. Strategic tears. Claire, please, think about Lily. She loves you. Don't punish her for our mistakes. Lily has a trust fund, $10,000. She gets it at 25, with a letter explaining everything. Ashley's voice went sharp. 10,000? That's it? You have over 300,000. She stopped, realized what she'd admitted. So you did go through my papers. She changed tactics fast. Angry now, real anger replacing fake tears. Fine. Yes, we did. Because you're acting crazy. Cutting off your own son over one missed dinner? We have grounds to contest this. Claim diminished capacity. I stayed calm. Read Clause 7 of my will. Anyone who contests loses everything, including Lily's trust. You want to gamble your daughter's future? Her face went shocked. You'd do that? No, you would. By contesting. David tried one last time. Desperate, voice shaking. Mom, what do you want? What can we do? Tell me. I'll do anything. I stood, walked to the door, opened it. I want you to leave, and I want you to think, really think, about what you lost. We can fix this. No, we can't, because you'd only fix it to get the money back, not to get me back. Ashley grabbed David's arm, pulled him toward the door. Come on, she's insane, we'll get a lawyer. The will is filed, notarized, legal, public record, 3 witnesses, and a lawyer who will testify I was completely sound of mind. Good luck. David stopped at the door. One last look. I can't believe you're doing this. I can't believe it took me this long. So that's it? 30 years, gone? No. 30 years of me giving, and you taking. That's what's gone. Maybe now you'll understand what it cost me. Ashley pulled him away. They left. Car doors slammed, engine started, tires on gravel. Gone. I closed the door, locked it, leaned my back against it. Slid down, sat on the floor. Didn't cry, hands shaking, but didn't cry. Sat there for 10 minutes, just breathing. Then stood up, walked to the kitchen, poured a glass of water, drank it all. Went out to my garden. Stood there looking at the sky. And for the first time in 3 years, I felt light. Sunday afternoon, I sat in my garden for an hour. Didn't do anything, just Saturday. Listened to birds, watched clouds. Karen called. How did it go? It's done. Are you okay? I will be. The week that followed was strange. Quiet. But not the bad kind of quiet. Monday, I cleaned. Really cleaned. Took David's old things from the guest room, clothes he'd left years ago, books, a baseball mitt from high school. Put them all in boxes. Didn't throw them away. Just packed them up. Took them down to the basement, closed the door. Went to the living room, the photo album on the wooden shelf, the one I used to look at when I sat in the chair by the window. Opened it, went through page by page. David as a baby, David's first day of school, David graduating, David and Ashley's wedding. Found the old photos, the good ones, David small, Robert alive, us when we were still us. Took those out, put them in a frame on my desk. The rest of the album, the last 3 years, Ashley, Lily, family photos where I was cropped to the edge or missing entirely. Closed the album, put it in a box with David's things, down to the basement. I wasn't erasing him. I was choosing which version to remember. The boy who needed me, not the man who used me. If you've ever been left out of your own family's table, you'll understand exactly how that photo felt. Tuesday, I did something I'd been thinking about for weeks. Signed up for an art class at the community center. Beginner painting. Tuesday and Thursday evenings. First class that night. Still life, fruit in a bowl. Simple. I was terrible at it. My apple looked like a potato. My grapes were lumpy. But I laughed. At myself. At the mess on my canvas. The teacher, a woman named Beth in her 40s, came over. You're doing great for your first time. I'm doing terribly. You're doing it. That's what matters. Wednesday, Karen and I went for a walk, 3 miles through the neighborhood. She asked how I was feeling. Different, I said. Not happy, not sad, just different. That's okay. Is it? Yes. Thursday, art class again. Got a little better. My bowl actually looked like a bowl this time. Friday, I did something else I'd been putting off. Volunteered at the library, reading to kids. Every Friday morning, first session, 6 kids under age 7, sat in a circle while I read Where the Wild Things Are. One girl, maybe 5 years old, asked when I was done, Are you coming back next week? Yes, I will. And I meant it. That week, David called 3 times. I didn't answer. Let it go to voicemail. Mom, please. Call me back, please. Listened to each one. Deleted them. Didn't call back. I wanted to call back. Part of me did. The part that remembered rocking him to sleep. The part that saved every Mother's Day card. But then I remembered the photo. The empty chair at my table. The cold turkey. And I didn't. Wednesday. Email from Ashley. Claire, you've made your point. We understand you're upset. But this is extreme. Lily asks about you every day. She doesn't understand why Grandma doesn't visit anymore. Don't let your pride destroy this family. Ashley. I read it, analyzed each line. You've made your point, minimizing. We understand you're upset, not we're sorry. Don't let your pride destroy this family. Blame shifting. Still no real apology. My finger hovered over reply. I could fix this. I could be the bigger person. 30 years of practice told me exactly what to write. But I looked at the table in my kitchen, still set for one. And I hit delete instead. People think cutting off family is easy. It's not. Tuesday I was fine. Wednesday I cried in the shower. Thursday I was angry at myself for crying. Friday I felt okay. Not happy, not sad, just okay. And okay was enough. People think the hardest part is the confrontation. It's not. It's the morning after. When you wake up and realize you've rewritten your whole life. When the phone doesn't ring and you realize you don't want it to. That's when you know you've really changed. Saturday, end of the first week, I sat with the photo album box, opened it one more time. Looked at the recent photos, the ones with Ashley, with Lily. Realized something. I wasn't in most of them, and in the ones I was in, I was always on the edge, always in the background. I'd been disappearing long before I changed the will. Closed the box, took it downstairs with the others. Week 1 was the hardest, but I survived it. And Monday morning, I woke up and thought, what do I want to do today? Not what does he need, not when will he call. Just, what do I want? And that question changed everything. 6 weeks after Thanksgiving, I had a routine. Art class Tuesday and Thursday evenings, library Friday mornings, walks with Karen on Wednesdays and Sundays, garden every afternoon the weather allowed. My house felt different, cleaner, emptier, but not lonely. There's a difference. The living room had new curtains, blue, lighter than the old ones. More sun came through. I'd painted the walls, pale gray, did it myself over 3 days. Karen helped. We laughed when I got paint in my hair. My paintings from class hung on the wall. Not good, but mine. One Tuesday, I walked past the music store downtown, the one I always drove by. This time I parked, went inside. An upright piano sat in the corner, used, wood a bit scratched. Price tag said $800. I sat on the bench, touched the keys. The sound echoed through the store. Help you? The owner, a man maybe 50, came over. How much for this one? $800. Needs tuning. I can do $650 if you take it this week. I thought about the old music book, the one from 30 years ago that I'd kept, still on my shelf at home. Chopin, Debussy, simple pieces. I thought about how I'd sold my piano to pay for David's textbooks his sophomore year. I'll take it. 3 days later, it was in my living room, tuned, ready. I sat down, opened the old music book, placed it on the stand, hands shaking. Pressed the first key. Wrong note. Tried again. Still wrong. 15 minutes later, I could play 4 notes of Für Elise. Laughed. Alone in my living room, but laughed. Found a teacher, Sarah, 28 years old. Came to my house Mondays and Thursdays. You're never too old to start again, she said. I'm not starting. I'm continuing. Week 5 after the confrontation, something unexpected happened. Email from David. Subject line. No expectations. I almost deleted it without reading, but didn't. Mom, I'm not asking you to change the will. I'm not asking for anything. I just need you to know. I'm sorry. Really sorry. Not for the money, for not seeing you, for making you invisible, for treating your love like it was infinite and free. You deserved better. You deserve better. I don't know if you'll ever forgive me, but I needed to say it. I've started therapy. Ashley and I are in counseling. I'm trying to understand how I became this person, the kind of person who would call his mother's bank before checking if she was okay. I'm not asking for a response. I just wanted you to know, David. I read it 3 times. Part of me wanted to reply immediately, to say I forgive you. But forgiveness isn't a light switch. It's a process, and I wasn't there yet. Maybe I would be. One day, but not today. The fact that he'd said sorry without asking for something back, That was new. Maybe therapy was working. Maybe he was changing. Or maybe this was another strategy. Time would tell. I saved the email, didn't delete it, but didn't respond. There's a difference between forgiveness and reconciliation. Forgiveness is what I do for me. Reconciliation is what we do together. I could forgive him for taking me for granted. But I couldn't reconcile until he proved he'd changed. Not with words, with time. David started sending photos of Lily. No messages, just photos. First day of preschool. Playing with blocks. Big smile with her favorite stuffed animal. I saved them to a folder on my computer. Looked at each one for a long time. Didn't reply, but kept them. I missed her. God, I missed her, but I wouldn't beg to see her. If David was changing, truly changing, he'd bring her to me. Without conditions. Wednesday walk with Karen. You seem different, she said. I am different. Lighter. I stopped carrying weight that wasn't mine. Any regrets? Only that I didn't do it sooner. Week 6, I added something to the letter for Lily, the one sealed with the will. P.S. Lily, by the time you read this, your father may have changed. I hope he has. People can change, but change takes time, and it takes work. And it shouldn't require losing someone to start. I hope you never have to make the choice I made. But if you do, remember, you can love someone and still choose yourself. Love, Grandma Claire. 8 weeks after Thanksgiving, I sat at my piano, played my first complete song. For Elise. Simple version. Choppy. Full of mistakes. But it was mine. And that was enough. February. 3 months after Thanksgiving. Spring starting to push through winter. I sat in my garden. Small green shoots coming up through the dirt. Crocuses. First flowers of the year. Glass of water on the table beside me. Sketchbook on my lap. Drawing the garden. Badly. But doing it. My life had a shape now. Piano 3 times a week. Art class twice. Library Fridays. Garden every day the weather allowed. Every day was mine. David kept sending emails. Not often. Every 2 weeks or so. Never asking for anything. Just updates. Lily asked about you today. I told her you're taking time for yourself. She said that's good. Grandmas need time too. I read a book about adult children and aging parents. I recognized myself on every page. I'm ashamed. Ashley and I had a hard conversation about how we treated you. She cried. I cried. We're trying. I read all of them. Didn't delete anymore, but didn't reply. Then one day, my phone rang. David's name on the screen. I stared at it. Long time. 4 rings. Picked it up. Hello, David. Silence on the other end, like he hadn't expected me to answer. Mom. Hi. I wasn't sure you'd pick up. I wasn't sure either. More silence. Not awkward. Just there. How are you? I'm good. Really good. I'm glad. Another pause. Mom, I don't want anything. I just wanted to hear your voice. You're hearing it. I know. Thank you. David? Yes? Keep going to therapy. I will. I am. Good. Can I call again? Sometime? Maybe. That's fair. Take care, David. You too, Mom. I hung up, sat there with the phone in my hand. It wasn't forgiveness. Not yet. But it was a crack in the wall. A small one. And maybe that was enough for now. I used to think love meant saying yes to everything, showing up everywhere, being available always. But love is also knowing when to step back, when to let someone sit with the weight of their choices. That's not cruelty. That's respect. For them, and for yourself. I called Stephen, my lawyer. I want to add something to the will, a codicil. To change it? To add a condition. What kind? If David demonstrates consistent, genuine change for a minimum of 3 years after my death, as determined by the executor, an additional $25,000 from the charity allocation may be added to Lily's trust. Not to David directly, to Lily. For him to prove value, not entitlement. That's very specific. That's fair. I'll draft it. 2 weeks later, my art class had a small show at the library. Local artists, beginners welcome. I put up 3 paintings. One of my garden, flowers blooming. One of the chair by the window, empty now, but peaceful. One of a table set for one person, single place setting, glass of water, simple meal. That last one sold, $150. The buyer was a woman about my age, 60 or so. This painting spoke to me, she said. The empty chair, the peace in solitude. Thank you. It was a hard lesson to learn. The best ones always are. I took that $150 and donated it to the education charity, the one getting 70% of my estate. Got a thank you letter 2 weeks later, photos of students with new books, smiling. This is what money should do, I told Karen over coffee. Help people who need it, not people who expect it. March came. I'd been playing piano for 2 months. Sarah, my teacher, suggested something. There's a small recital at the community center, students only, very casual. Would you want to play? I'm not good enough. You're good enough to try. I thought about it for 3 days, then said yes. Spring was coming. I could feel it. And for the first time in 30 years, I wasn't afraid of what came next. Because whatever it was, I'd handle it. Alone if I had to. But not lonely. June, 6 months after Thanksgiving. I stood in my garden, full of flowers now. Roses, daisies, lavender, tomato plants starting to fruit. Karen took a photo of me, wide-brimmed hat, watering can in hand, smiling. You look happy, she said. I am. My life had filled in. Piano 4 times a week now, art twice, library every Friday, garden every afternoon, walks, coffee with friends, book club on Wednesdays. The house was different, brighter. I'd hung my own paintings, rearranged furniture, bought new dishes, simple white ones, just for me. First week of June, I'd gone on a trip. 5 days in Charleston with Karen. Galleries, beaches, gardens, seafood, laughter. First real vacation in years. The piano recital happened in April, small one at the community center, 15 students. I played 2 simple pieces, nervous, hands shaking. But I did it. People clapped. Sarah hugged me afterward. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of myself. That feeling. I'd almost forgotten it. May, I made my first donation while I'm still alive, $50,000 to the educational charity. The will would distribute the rest after I'm gone, but this I could see happen now. Got a letter back, photos of kids with new textbooks, new library shelves, smiling faces. This is what money should do, I thought. Help people who need it, not people who feel entitled to it. David kept calling, every 2 weeks, brief calls, just checking in. How's piano going? Good. I played at a recital. That's amazing. I'd love to hear you play someday. Maybe, someday. One call in late May, he asked something different. Mom, I want to bring Lily to see you. No agenda, no expectations, just so she can see her grandma, if you want. I was quiet for a long time. Let me think about it. Take all the time you need. I thought about it for 2 weeks. Did I want to see Lily? Yes, every single day. But I wouldn't let her be used as leverage. If David brought her, it had to be genuine. Not to manipulate, not to soften me up, just because she was my granddaughter. End of June, I called David back. Bring Lily to the park, Saturday, 2 p.m., 1 hour. You and Ashley stay in the car. Thank you, Mom. I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing it for her. I know, and that's fair. Saturday came. I sat on a park bench, watched David's car pull up. Lily jumped out, ran toward me. Grandma! She hugged me. I hugged back, eyes stinging. David and Ashley stayed in the car, watching from a distance. Didn't come closer. Lily and I swung on swings, had ice cream, drew with sidewalk chalk, talked. Why haven't you visited? She asked. Sometimes grown-ups need time to think, but I've thought about you every day. I missed you. I missed you too, sweetheart. 1 hour. Then she ran back to the car, waved. Bye, Grandma. David looked at me from the driver's seat. Didn't say anything, just nodded. Thank you. I nodded back. They drove away. I walked home slowly, realized something. I just set a boundary and kept it. 1 hour, no more, no less. And it felt good. Love didn't have to mean unlimited access. It could mean healthy distance. And maybe that was the best kind of love. So, that's my story. I texted Happy Thanksgiving to my son. He didn't reply. He posted a family photo without me. That night, I rewrote my will. 3 days later, he was on my porch, begging for mercy. People ask, was I too harsh? Maybe. But here's what I learned. For 30 years, I made excuses. He's busy, family is complicated, blood is thicker than water. But busy is a choice. Complicated is a cop-out, and blood means nothing without respect. That photo wasn't an accident. It was a message, and I finally read it. Some people think mothers should forgive everything, that we should be endlessly available, infinitely patient, forever waiting. But I learned this. Cruelty isn't setting boundaries. Cruelty is accepting treatment that kills you slowly and calling it love. Lily will get her trust at 25, with a letter explaining everything. The rest is helping kids get books, women get treatment. People who understand that gifts aren't entitlements. And if David changes, truly changes, for 3 years after I'm gone, Lily might get a little more. Not for him, for her. Because this was never about punishment. It was about teaching value. Did David and I reconcile? Sort of. We talk now. Every couple weeks. I saw Lily at the park, once, for 1 hour. Is it perfect? No. But it's honest. And that's better than perfect. He's in therapy. They're in counseling. He's trying. And that's more than he was doing 6 months ago. Will I change the will back? I don't know. Maybe. If the change is real, if it lasts, if it's for the right reasons. But even if I don't, I'm at peace. Do I regret it? I remember one Thanksgiving. David was 8. He'd helped me make the pumpkin pie, got flour everywhere. We laughed until we cried. He'd looked up at me, covered in flour, and said, "Best day ever, Mom." I kept that memory safe for 30 years, held it close every time he didn't call, every time he canceled, every time he chose something else. But memories can't hold you when you're lonely. They can't show up for Thanksgiving. They can't choose you back. Changing the will? No. What I regret? The years I spent waiting. Every time I said it's fine when it wasn't. Teaching my son that my love was infinite, but my worth was negotiable. But that Thanksgiving? Standing up? Finally saying enough? Best decision I ever made. This wasn't revenge. It was release. I didn't cut him out to hurt him. I cut him out to find myself. And I did. I'm painting, playing piano, volunteering, traveling, living. Not because he's gone, because I'm finally here. Last Thanksgiving, I texted my son and got silence. This year, I texted no one. And got peace. 6 months ago, I sat at a table alone, a table set for family that never came. Today, I sit in a garden I planted, at a table set for one. And the difference? Today, I chose it. If you've ever been the one who gave until nothing was left, you're not alone. If you've ever been the backup plan instead of the priority, you deserve better. If you've ever had to choose between keeping peace and keeping yourself, I see you. And I want you to know, choosing yourself isn't selfish, it's survival. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe and feel free to share your story in the comments. Sometimes, saying it out loud is the first step to taking your life back. Like if this resonated, subscribe for more stories about finding yourself again. Because the bravest thing you can do isn't holding on, it's letting go.